Hey everybody, this is Hogan Brown with Loon Outdoors. I'm going to show you how to tie a jigged Isonychia nymph today, kind of my all-purpose Isonychia nymph. If you've never heard of an Isonychia nymph or Isonychia hatch, this is a hatch that takes place usually late August, September, honestly, when not a lot's hatching. And it's a pretty unique mayfly. So follow along. We'll get you some tips and tricks to get out there and fish here during the summer doldrums. All right, so one of my favorite hatches of the year is it's not an incredibly well-known hatch, but takes place on a couple of our local rivers. It's a Isonychia mayfly. And it usually starts popping in September when, honestly, in our neck of the woods, not a lot happens. And it's a big mayfly. Okay, and we're going to start with this. It's a swimming mayfly. It's actually one of the few mayflies that crawls up onto the bank and emerges out of its shuck, very similar to a stonefly. And takes place in some freestone rivers around us, the Pitt River, North Fork of the Feather, probably the Upper Sac has some, but a lot of different freestones. And we're going to use, for this, it's going to be on a size 10 jigged streamer hook. And traditionally, I've tied a couple different patterns for it. A lot of people fish a size 10 Prince Nymph. That's a great imitation for it. It's kind of dark and purpley. But there's not a lot commercially tied for it. And so I end up tying a lot of my own. And for this, we're going to use a slotted tungsten bead in silver. This is the 3/16. So obviously this is going to be meant to get down. And I'm going to use some 0.15 lead to even add some more weight to this, because a lot of the waters that we're fishing this in, they're big, deep pocket water. And the fish, in September, it's, not exactly the coolest month of the year. They're going to be down deep. So you got to get through some of this oxygenated water and get down to them. So heavy is the name of the game when it comes to this. There's also, one of the great things you can do with this is these are bugs that swim to the banks or up onto rocks to emerge. You can swing flies to do this. But for this, we're going to design a nymph or show you a nymph. I use camel, uni-thread, 8/0, but anything in the brown, black will work. Okay. Start off, thread at the base, kind of secure that lead in there, lock that undercarriage in, and work that thread to the back of the hook shank. Trim it off. Now, with the kind of swimming nature of these flies, you do want to, give the illusion of movement with this. So I'm going to use some leech brown marabou. Black works as well. Deep dark purple works. And you don't need a super long tail, so you can kind of use probably the less desirable pieces off the bottom, okay? And I'm going to take that because you can tie a long tail, like more of a swimming woolly bugger tail, but that's not going to be what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie all that stuff in, just kind of pack it all in there at that base before the lead starts, and then up on the lead, it's going to give it, instead of tapering it with lead, I'm going to kind of use the materials to taper the fly. You can kind of see, start to get that. Then with this, I'm going to pinch it, okay? Basically this is not going to be my tail. This is going to be essentially what gives my tail some movement. So I pinch it nice and short like that. For my tail, I'm going to take 3 of these ostrich plumes, and these are great. This is the kind of grayish dun color. And I take 3, trim them, make sure you got tips. This is a kind of a hex pattern style, and I kind of use the same philosophy. And I take those and I stretch them out a little longer right on top than the marabou. And I'm probably sure that if you just had the marabou, the fly would probably fish just the same. But for the fly tire and the entomologist, the armchair entomologist, I like having the tails. Tack that all in there. Next thing I'm going to do, just take a piece, we're going to use a piece of rib, just small copper wire. You could use black as well, but copper's, pretty standard. I honestly probably tie a dozen of these a year, go fish my local water where they emerge 1 or 2 days, lose most of them in the rocks and catch a few fish, and then do it again next year. But it's a great exploring pattern in September, and it's definitely an overlooked hatch for a lot of places. I'm going to take a piece of turkey tail that I've cut out of just a turkey tail feather. It's going to be kind of basically like an overbody. Tie that onto the back. Okay. And then for dubbing, I'm going to use this Scintilla Leech Brown. Okay. Hard to find. If you can find it or you're sitting on a supply, let me know. But any kind of leech brown, deep purple, buggy nymphs, I'll pull some out so you can kind of see the color. Just a basic peacock style of work too, but I like there's something about the shades and elements of purple that really imitate this bug well. And I'll start kind of just picking off a little bit of that clump and giving it a nice tie. There's going to be some elements. It's kind of a, you're not going to, see this and be like, oh my gosh, that's an identical mayfly nymph copy. Going to be some elements of bird's nest in this, kind of a woolly bugger. There's a lot of different elements to this. It's more about silhouette, getting down, and getting in front of the fish with a somewhat accurate silhouette, not necessarily a carbon copy replica of the insect. And I've found that a couple of the keys are that movement in the tail, the trimness kind of this is that's, obviously not super trim, but that nice slender tapering profile. In the color, I will say the color, that purplish nymph brown seems to be an important thing. Okay, so we get that. Kind of think at this point, bird's nest proportions. If you're looking for something to kind of latch on to, then I'm going to take that turkey, pull it over. Get those precision tip scissors in there and trim it. I'm going to take that copper wire, ribbit, right up there. Trim it. Then I will take our dubbing brush here and then just give it some rubs underneath. There's some fancier patterns that'll tie in gills and stuff like that to these, but I think a good, pick on the dubbing on the side and the bottom's gonna do the same thing. Give it that little kind of pull back. Then for the top part, again, as I said, think bird's nest proportions. Take a piece of kind of rusty mallard flank. Trim off the kind of back ones on the bottom. Okay, and then I take fair amount. That's the amount that you would presume for a bird's nest of this size. Give up legs down the side. Trim that. Take the next clump. Set them on the side. Measure it about halfway down. Kind of same proportions as a bird's nest. Trim it. Now, one thing you can do here, and I'll do it for illustration purposes, you can put a strip of UV clear down that turkey tail. Just kind of lay it there. And take my bodkin, kind of spread it out. Give it a little bit of security and flash. Hit it with the light. I tied a few of these the other day where I used our purple UV flake here and put that on top. Look nice. You can also use black. Okay. You got that. Okay, at that point, almost done. I'm going to take some more of this dubbing and give it a loose clump like this. And this is kind of how I do my bird's nests as well. Take it and then almost palmer it right around and then pull it back. Okay. Do it again. Set it. Spin it. Then you get that kind of big clump. You're like, oh my gosh, that looks like cat barf. You pull it and you kind of pin it back and you're going to get that nice buggy collar. Pull out some, and then what I always do, there's always going to be some to pull out. You pull it out and then you get a little bit, and you take that and you spin it right there nice and tight. Okay. And then you palmer it around, and that's your nice head. And that again seals everything back. Tie it off. There you go. You got the all-purpose Isonychia. Tie a few up. Try it in your local tailwaters. I think you'd be surprised. These hatches are a lot of places that we don't know they are.